One of my friends told me, she was like, my boyfriend told me that you're too masculine and that you couldn't be his woman. Because if you were his woman, you have to bow down to him. There is nothing wrong with being an independent woman that knows what she wants, that gets what she wants. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being mentally strong. There's nothing wrong with that. I remember I used to have sessions with my friends all the time. They told me that the boyfriend said that I am not a good example of a woman because I sit in my masculinity too much and I speak my mind too much and I need to sit back and I need to be quiet and I need to follow a man's lead, right? They said that I voiced my opinion too much. I was too opinionated and that I was just too headstrong for a woman, and that's not how a woman to be. A woman needs to be submissive, right? When it comes to masculine and feminine, it really gets on my nerves because I feel like as a woman, so many people are telling me that I don't sit in my femininity. But once again, why do I need to sit in my femininity for you? I'm not with you. I'm not married to you. We don't have that intimate relationship. We're not like that. So why do I need to show you that I'm soft? Why do I need to show you how I cater to a man? Why do I need to show you that I can cater to a man? That's none of your business, honestly. So outside to the world, when I'm out doing my profession, when I'm out dealing with the world, I show them the outspoken my show with a lot of integrity, my show that's headstrong, my show that can advocate for herself. That's what I show. When I'm at home with my husband and my family and my kids, that's my loving side. That's my caring side. That's my I love you guys side. That's another side. But I don't need to show the world that. I don't. So when men want to come for me saying that I'm too mentally strong for a woman, you don't know what I've been through. I've been through a lot of stuff that caused me to have to be who I am. That caused me to have to be an advocate. I was not always outspoken like this. I was not. I was very loving, no boundaries, no nothing. Let people treat me any type of way. I'm still loving now, but back then, growing up, and the younger version of myself, I was so loving with no boundaries. Loving with no boundaries. And people felt like they can walk in and out of my life whenever they want. They can treat me however I want, and I'm always going to be there because that was the type of person I was. My heart was a doormat, and I allowed it, and I let people do that because I was naive. I wasn't the person that I am now. Different things with my dad passing, my uncle dying from gun violence. I love my uncle. My uncle and I were like this. All that stuff, and a lot more stuff that I went through in my life, it made me this strong woman. I had no choice but to be strong. I was at a point to where I was just here on earth. I wasn't really living. I was just kind of just like going with the wind, like just here but not really here. So I had no choice but to depend on God. I had no choice but to depend on prayer. I had no choice but to get with God, teamwork with God, and pull myself out of that. I had no choice. I had different situations where I was humiliated and treated so bad, but no matter what, I showed up to work. I showed up to this. I showed up to that. I showed up embarrassed, humiliated, and all, right? Rejected, all that stuff, right? So all that made me who I am today. And that's why I walk around here with my head up high. I shake people's hand. I shake it, not like that, but you know what I'm saying? I get a little, you know what I'm saying? My stepdad was working with me, just a little shake, a little firm, you know, a little bit, just to show you I got strength. I got, you know what I'm saying? I'm her. That's it. So it's like you can't judge me unless you walk into my shoes. If you walk into my shoes, and if you're able to even last in my shoes for 10 minutes, you will be able to see why I am the strong, independent, masculine, I don't even believe in that, masculine woman. Right? You guys will be able to see that. So when people come at me and say I'm to this, I'm to that, you don't know my story. You don't know what I have to go through. You don't know what I went through that made me who I am today. That's why I don't judge people, because I don't know your story. I don't know why you're that way. But I'm pretty sure if I sat down and talked to you and heard your story, then I'd be like, that's why she's like that. That's why he's like that. That's why they're triggered by this. That's why they're triggered by that. That's why they think that way. So that's why I don't judge people. I don't even speak on people. But people always want to speak on me. Okay, at the end of the day, to get what you want, to get where you want to be, you gotta be mentally strong here. You gotta be mentally strong. You gotta be. You gotta be. You gotta be. And the different things that I went through in my life, they forced me to be mentally strong. God allowed me to go through what I went through because he knew what my future looked like. He knew what my future looked like. He knew what he was preparing me for. So he allowed me to go through these different things to build me into the woman now. Because in order for me to be able to handle what I go through now in my life now, I have to go through what I went when I went through when I was growing up. In my 20s. I'm in my early 30 now. In my 20s, I had to go through all that. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to deal with my life now. Now when it comes to adversity, right? I deal with it with adversity with grace. I take it head on. I'm able to deal with it. I've been through worse than that. So there's nothing wrong with being a strong individual that has a strong mind, that has an opinion, that speaks their mind, that speaks up, that advocates, that stands true in who they are. That's what bothers people most. I don't switch up. I'm me all the time. I don't care what you say. You can say anything and everything, and people talk about me all the time. That don't bother me. That's not going to change who I am. And if I change who I am, I'm not being who God wants me to be. When I was listening to other people and trying to figure out who I was and confused and trying to fit in here and trying to do all that and battling myself, talking to myself like myself. Do you want to continue to be who you are, or you want to be like what society is telling you to be? I was constantly battling, right? And me, I won because I didn't want to compromise who I am for other people. So the words, the comments, all that stuff, I'm still going to be headstrong. I'm still going to be so-called masculine. I'm still going to handle business. I'm still going to advocate. I'm still going to be who I am. And most definitely, if you're trying to walk into God's purpose, you got to be headstrong, man. You got to be a strong individual. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with getting what you want to get. A lot of men used to tell me all the time, they're like, hey, like, you too outspoken for me. Like, you like somebody, you go and you talk to them, stuff like that. I don't like women like that. That's cool. I'm not for you. There's other men that was like, hey, you are who you are. You get what you want. You're outspoken. You know what I'm saying? You want to go to dinner. You say, hey, I really wanted to go to dinner. Would you like to come? There's nothing wrong with that. In my life, I was in situations to where I had to speak up. You know, you don't get in this position that I'm in now. If I was timid, I wouldn't be able to be here. I asked God for my dreams and my goals. I spoke to God, I said, God, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I want to get there. Prepare me. Right? Didn't like that I told him that. But after I said that, God started preparing me. God started mentally preparing me and getting me ready for what he has for me. And I had no choice but to be strong. I had no choice but to be masculine. A headstrong, outspoken woman that don't take no BS. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, men, women, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. At the end of the day, the only person that's judging me is God. And if you want to get to where you want to get to, you want to get to God's purpose, you can't care about what people say. You got to trust that God got you, and you got to trust that you being you is going to get you to that purpose. If you're not you, you can't get to that purpose. If you're somebody else, no. God don't want you. God wants you to be whoever is in here. That's who God made you to be. That's who God needs you to be to get to that purpose, to get to that dream. Don't change that. Don't care about what people think. There's nothing wrong with being mentally strong. There's nothing wrong with being a masculine woman. I don't believe in all that stuff. But people tell me that I sit in my masculinity, and if you compare me to another feminine woman, men say that I'm masculine. I'll take that. I drive a Dodge Challenger. Men say that's too masculine. Cool. I can't drive what y'all want to drive. I am who I am, and I have to sit in that and be that. You know, either people like it or they don't. So anybody else that's battling with that, stay true to who you are. I'm telling you, in the long run, the only person that can judge you is God. The only person you have to answer to is God. When you die, who you stand in front of is God, not people.